Are you guys ready for our next guest? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Zach.
I was like, I was hearing, oh, are you ready for our next guest? I'm like, yeah, wait. I got two.
Oh, you got two.
Fantastic.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm still adjusting to the time zone, but it's been a very warm welcome otherwise. I've been enjoying myself.
When did you arrive?
On Thursday, so in the evening, and I hopped off the plane, dropped off my bags, and went straight to the club for this show that I found. It's like this DJ I really liked.
Oh, wow.
It just happened to be in town playing a Thursday night show, and it was insane. It was a great introduction to Scotland because everybody was like going crazy and was really friendly and welcoming, and I made a bunch of friends. And
did you just go on your own, just doing a little dance, or did you have some friends with you?
I went by myself. It was more like less like this and more like mosh pits and people going crazy. It's like a hip hop show. So
is this your first time in Scotland?
first time in the UK.
Woo! Yeah, let's do that. Welcome.
I'm going to London next month, but you guys beat them to it. This is my first impression, and it's been a very good one. So.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Is there anything here that you really want to try, like fish and chips or the food?
I literally just ate a gigantic plate of fish and chips in like 3 minutes for lunch just now. So, and that's like the fourth one I've had since I got here. Way too much iron brew since I got here. It's tops. I love it.
See, I feel really bad now because this is my first time in Scotland and I still haven't drunk Iron Brew yet.
Oh, what are you doing?
I know.
Yeah, me and Iron Brew, we go way back. I've been drinking that for like 24 hours now. It's great.
Okay, so let's get down to the gritty stuff. In
Yeah.
the beginning of your career, you've done so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's
already.
kind of flown by in a scary way.
So what was first? Was it the voice acting? Was it the singing?
That was a total accident. The singing came first. When I was 7 years old, I took my first singing lesson in St. Louis, and that got into musical theater. That got me into film, but there's like no film in Missouri in the United States. So I got noticed by a couple agents in California. We decided to like go out and test the waters, my family and I, when I was 9. And it was just a series of like domino effects of fortunate coincidences that resulted in us staying longer and investing more into it, and that was 13 years ago. So.
Yeah. And it was all your passion driven, like, or did your parents like wanted you to take a career down that road?
Oh no, I was badgering them constantly, like, Mom, I want to act more. She's like, Zach, there's no acting jobs here. I was like, well, then take me somewhere there is. For months on end, it was definitely, I was the driving force behind it. From getting into my first plays to moving to California, I was an annoying little jerk about it, and I think I got my way eventually. I guess I did get my way eventually, yeah.
That's so lovely that they were so supportive. And do they still support you now?
And my dad's over there on the couch, so yeah.
And everyone say hi, Dad.
Yeah, they're very supportive, the whole family, and I got a good group of friends as well that came up doing the same thing, so it's a good support group. You need that, especially if you're uprooting from somewhere and doing that.
Okay, so let's talk about the album. So yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us about, I mean, what was the thought process? How much time did you actually have to, work on it?
I've been working on some iteration of it for the past 3 years. It just came out last month, so that, like, being on this side of it is still kind of surreal. I did the whole thing twice. I did it once with another producer. Didn't have quite the mix I wanted. Blew it up, like, started almost from scratch again with another team. Same songs, but completely different reimaginings. And it's a time capsule in my life of when I was, like, it just turned 18, like, end of 2015, 2016, when I was absolutely at rock bottom, and not just dealing with a breakup, but dealing with, like, when you come up as a child actor, everyone warns you not to go off the deep end, but they never really tell you what that means. And then you start seeing it happen around you to people you know, people you admire. And I wanted to write something that's like, you're dealing with the normal problems of a young adult with the lens of everyone's watching you and everyone's expecting something great from you. And that's an impossible standard to hold a kid to. And I think it's why we lose so many in the process. And I wanted to write something about my personal experience with flying too close to the sun with some of those darker topics. And it's not there's triumphant moments, there's victorious moments where it reaches a high and things come to some sort of resolution. But it's a continuous story from the beginning to end that I wanted to tell, to put it in a capsule one period of my life and define this phenomenon that's very specific to people who came up in Hollywood as kids, for better or for worse.
Yeah. And you don't see many young adults talk about or sing about that stuff, so it's quite a good.
It's an invisible problem because the people that are acting and making all your favorite shows and music, it's they're living the life. They're out in California, they're making money, they're doing the thing. Mac Miller, just the other day, a friend of mine, somebody I knew that I worked with on the Goldbergs, Jackson Odell, not that long ago. It just happens, and we just sort of like sit by and watch, and it's not my thing. I wanted to say something about it, and I didn't want to become just one of those names, So that's my story. That's where I came from with that.
It's definitely a tough subject to talk about. So, like the process, how would you lock yourself in a room and just try and get the emotions on paper? Like, what's the thought process of songwriting and for producing the album?
I'm trying to get back to a place with my next project where I can do this again, not from a negative perspective, but in just any sort of emotion, because I was just like living it, and then it was coming out on the page, for better or for worse, because it was a very dark time. Most of the songs were written in my bedroom at 6 a.m. and like on the road at a convention in a hotel at 6 a.m. And these places where I was alone and dealing with that as an adult for the first time and not being at all prepared for what that meant. It's set at the stage of a relationship ending, and it's called a picture perfect Hollywood heartbreak, but it's really not about the relationship. That's just what shatters the illusion of childhood and innocence and everything that comes with that. And it's like, all right, kid, here's the world, like deal with it with the lens of everything else that Hollywood provides. And that's the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah, because people only see what's on the surface and not, the hours you woke up at 6 a.m. every morning to, put into it.
Yeah, and the content, it's kind of shocking for some of the people that listen to it. I'm honestly surprised that there wasn't more backlash to it, given the references to things illegal and immoral that you see and you witness and sometimes are a part of. And those are collectively, they made up who I am today. And the amount of acceptance from the fans and love from the people that came to the shows on the first tour, it was, I thought there would be more of a negative response to me, coming from a kid's show and playing someone like Steven, and coming at it and telling my story like this. It's been surprisingly, overwhelmingly positive, and for that I'm very grateful.
Any Steven fans out there?
Oh yeah. I see y'all right here. It's got the star on the shirt. Right here, you got the star on the shirt. Up in front, we got an amethyst.
Maybe there wasn't a backlash because people understand and, they're just happy now that someone is finally talking about it. Do you think? Yeah. Well, anyway, I want to stop asking questions because I'm sure you guys have got lots of questions, right? Yes?
How we doing this?
Okay. Are you going to run out? Oh, thank you, CJ.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a red top. Yep.
Hello. You're loud.
Hot potato.
Here we go.
Except from Steven, who's your favorite character in the show?
Peridot. It's not even close. Like, I love all my other gem moms, but ever since she came on the show, the world has never been the same.
Okay, next question.
I was wondering how it makes you feel that Steven Universe is often censored or just flat out and not shown in other countries because of the LGBT themes.
On the surface, it's upsetting and disappointing that we live in a world where that still has to happen. It's outright banned in 9 countries as well, not just censored. And I don't know what's worse, honestly. But it also, sometimes it puts a smile on my face because it means that we're going places that a lot of other shows won't go, and we're putting out a message that is, it's brave. It's brave of Rebecca, it's brave of the network, and to be a part of that, it makes a statement that's so loud and so appalling to certain people that you feel the need to ban it in an entire country. I think that's something to be proud of in a certain way.
Okay.
Great question.
Okay, next question here.
What would you say has been your favorite part about voicing Steven?
Working with Rebecca and our cast and our crew, they're family now, and you don't always have that with animation casts, given how separate you can work sometimes. But Dee Dee is my second mom. Estelle is like my cool aunt. Michaela's like my big sister. Rebecca is my #1 artistic inspiration. Seeing the way she runs her shop for Steven Universe and fights for all of her ideas and makes sure that every bit of merchandise and other piece of media for the show is so tied in with it, and crafting her own story. That's what inspired me to do the album and tell that story I was telling you guys about, because she's so inspirational with how she champions her story, and there's so much of her life in Steven Universe that you would never even know because it's so personal to her, but it's heart and soul, and it's all there, and that's what makes it so great, and that's what inspired me to do all my other projects.
Awesome. Next question here.
Hi. What was your reaction when you actually first saw White Diamond?
I mean, I flipped. She's my favorite character design that we've ever had on the show. And there's a lot of like underlying themes that I probably shouldn't talk about too much at length, considering her arc isn't done. But Rebecca's really gone like deep with me, telling me about how like why she's designed the way she is, why she acts the way she does, and you know, obviously I've recorded a lot further ahead than we are, so I know how some of these things go. But she's just a fascinating character through and through, and I really hope that that people dig into the fan theories and character breakdowns once we have all the information, because there's a lot to dissect there. But just purely from a visual standpoint, stunning. I was floored. Rebecca just put up her iPhone like close to my face in the middle of a studio session. I'm like, what the? Oh. It was a good day.
Okay, next question.
What's been your favorite song to sing on the show?
Either both of you from Mr. Greg or the new one, Let's Only Think About Love from Reunited. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it's also, that song is like really, it's like a full radio length song. It's 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Sometimes we have little snippet songs, but that one is like, it was beefy. It took up, more than, 30% of an episode. So that was kind of cool. And that episode in general is just so pivotal. Hell of a cliffhanger to leave it off on.
Okay, just to your left here, I'm just hiding. Young lady here.
Do you want to hear my friend play the theme tune on his ukulele?
What was that now?
Would you like to hear her friend play the theme tune on his ukulele?
Yes, please.
Let's
come
get
here,
into the
come here.
stage.
Let's
Show
come
off
up
for the crowd.
Front of the stage.
Okay,
Only
stand
if you
here.
guys help me sing it.
Okay. Right.
Which part are we starting from?
Right, I'll put the mic near the
Give me my
guitar.
first chord real quick.
If you're evil and you're on the rise, you can count on the four of us taking you down. 'Cause we're good and evil never beats us. We'll win the fight and then go out for pizzas. We
Sing it.
are the crystal gems. We'll always save the day. And if you think we can, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in Garnet, Amethyst, and Steven!
You play well, man. You play well.
Sorry, what's your name? What's your name?
Of course. You got to
He's running
Sharpie.
away from us. What's your name there?
Marvin!
Let's hear it for
Byron.
Marvin. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. What's your question?
I've always wanted to know, what's it like having your own toy figure?
It's pretty surreal. It's pretty surreal.
This is my daughter's, but I thought I'd bring it along so you can actually pose next to it. There you go.
You can take a picture of it.
I'll get one
pose
later.
all pretty with it, and you can send it to her.
Is it not freaky knowing there's actually people at home with figures of you?
I know, it's kind of scary, and there's millions of them.
Around.
Actually, I feel there's probably less than that. I feel like if there was millions, they'd be easier to find. But all the other characters are super rare, so.
Awesome. Right. Next question.
Hi, I want to know what it was like to work with Nate Wants to Battle on the Phantom music video.
Oh, thank you for asking. Nate's a good homie now. I mean, he asked me to be on Dark and Dicey, our Dungeons and Dragons show. Does anyone watch Dark and Dicey? Cool. I do a Dungeons and Dragons show. For you guys, it would be every Tuesday mornings on Twitch. And that's initially what I started working with on Nate. Then he asked me to be in the music video, do the cameo. That was really fun. And then he asked me to come on tour with him to promote the album when that came out in August, and that was a dream come true. We played 7 cities in the U.S., and it rocked. I mean, we had hundreds of people out there, like, mobbing and jumping up and down, and a lot of people had never been to a concert before, but were, like, wholly invested in it. And Nate's awesome. I have him to thank for an amazing opportunity. He makes killer music, too.
Good question. Right, next person.
I just want to know how shooketh you were when you found out that Pink was actually Pink Diamond. Well, Rose was actually Pink Diamond.
I was definitely shooketh. I mean, I had to sit on that information for like a good 2 years. So that was my first reaction was like, this is awesome, but also this is gonna be a problem because I'm gonna like Tom Holland myself at some point and say this out loud. But I kept it a secret. It didn't leak. We didn't have any problems with it. We managed to get there without anybody finding out, and it was very satisfying. It was like a big exhale of relief.
Okay, do you want to stand here just so Zach can see you? There we go. I didn't
Howdy.
say you could wave. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Against the rules.
Go on, what's your question?
What was the hardest episode to ever film?
I'll tell you, Steven and the Stevens was a workout. Because if there's a Steven on screen, that's me. Even when there's 500 of them beating each other up. Let's Only Think About Love, the song for Reunited, that took up a big chunk of time over multiple sessions. That was really challenging. Storm in the Room was a tough one, but it was helped by the fact that I was in the booth with Susan Egan, who plays Rose, for the first time. Obviously, we would have never met before that. We'd met outside of the studio, but getting to work together was really cool. But it was a weird episode because it's very dark, and Steven knows the whole time that this is a false illusion and something is very wrong here, but he can't, he's really desperately trying to hold on to this phantom image of his mother, and it's rather disturbing. And that was an interesting dynamic to figure out.
Scary episode, you said there. Right.
Half our episodes are scary episodes.
I have actually quite embarrassing mini Steven. Do I just sidestep yes as I can see you?
Hey, bud. Good to see you again.
Can I take him home?
No, you're not allowed.
Oh, no. What's your question there?
What was your favorite episode that you've ever made?
My favorite episode that I've ever made. Steven and the Stevens is up there because of the shenanigans that ensued while we were trying to record it. Let's see. Can't Go Wrong with Frybo. That was when I first realized what I was like really in for with the show. Because that's like episode 5. Up until then, it was sunshine and rainbows, and then the giant fry monsters trying to eat people. Mr. Greg was really cool. Our first musical episode. That was definitely a landmark achievement for sure.
Okay, next question at the front here.
Hi. I know you've done some DC work before with Billy Batson. Have you ever considered doing any Marvel work? You were speaking about...
What was that last part?
Do you see yourself voicing any Marvel characters? Like, I could see you voicing Spider-Man, maybe.
They got my number. Me and every other guy in my demographic auditioned for Tom Holland's role in Spider-Man. Everyone did. A friend of mine, there was a rumor that got leaked on some like TMZ type website that he had gotten like a producer session for it, and he had no idea where it came from. It was totally fake. There was all sorts of crazy rumors flying around when that role came out. But yeah, voiceover-wise, I'd love to do something for Marvel. I played Billy Batson for DC and Shazam in a couple different projects, and that was really cool to get like my superhero street cred out. But I'd love to do more. I don't know if that's like a conflict of interest. For voice actors working for DC and Marvel, I think there's plenty of double agents. It's once you get your face on camera that it becomes a problem.
Okay, next question.
Do you ever think that Steven's gem will break and somehow it turns into two? Then Rose Quartz becomes a gem, like, back alive, then Steven comes back alive?
I hope not, because then I'm out of a job. Her question was, do you think that Steven's gem would ever break and Rose would come back? What's that?
And Steven, is that?
The gem breaks into two, so Steven and Rose can come back, like, in the near future?
That I don't know about. I have plenty of wild theories of things I want to happen, but that's why I don't write the show, because they're probably not good ideas. But maybe one day I'll get my Steven Peridot fusion that I've been campaigning for years. See, there is public support for the measure. Why hasn't it happened yet?
Hashtag Zach said. Okay, next question.
This isn't really a question. I just wanted to say thank you.
No, thank you. Thank all of you. We live and die by you guys as a show, and we have the greatest fandom around, no bias, so thank you. Thank you.
Bigger woo than that. Come on. Okay, next question.
Hello.
Hey, Diva.
Hi. Is it challenging to do Steven's voice because, like, he's a young child and you're not?
What? What are you talking about?
You know, with a lot of vocal warm-ups and tea, that can really go a long way.
The singing training over the years has really helped me as well, expand my range. When my voice first changed, I lost my whole range, and that was a very scary time for me. I lost roles on 2 other shows, and it was very, very difficult. But I started seeing my vocal teacher 2-3 times a week and, like, really working out and getting the range back, and I prefer my voice now than where it was before, so I think I ended up okay. It just took a while to get there.
Awesome. Next question here.
Hi. So what
Hey
is
again.
your favorite character ship in all of the series?
Uh-oh. Answer carefully, Zach. Is it cheating if I say Lars and Sadie? Okay, I'll take that as a no. That's my answer. They're adorable, and Lars needs to come back from war.
Okay, gentleman at the back here.
Speaking of ships, when do you think Connie and Stephen are finally going to get together?
We're playing hardball, are we? I believe that is not for me to answer, although I ship it. I ship it. I'm really good homies with Grace Rolak, who plays Connie on the show. We're about the same age. We're like 2 weeks apart. We came up together, and we've developed a really good friendship. We don't ship each other at all, but we definitely support our characters being shipped. I do. I don't speak for her, but I think so.
These T-shirts seem very popular. I can't work out why, but here we go.
What show is that from? The Voltron?
So far, what's your favorite fusion from the series?
My favorite fusion is Sardonyx. Love Sardonyx. She can get down. She's got the dance moves and the stick and the hammer, and it's wild. I love it.
Okay, I've jumped over here now.
Man, you're like making quick ground, moving all over the place.
Hi again.
Hey.
Have you seen any fan projects like Gem Animate or Pearl's Secret Rap Career?
Pearl's Secret Rap Career, of course. Mackenzie Atwood of Pearl's Secret Rap Career fame is a good friend of mine, and we made Steven's Secret Rap Career together. Basically, for those of you who aren't familiar, Mackenzie Atwood was so good at making YouTube meme edit videos that she got hired by Cartoon Network to make meme edit videos. And her most famous one is Pearl's Secret Rap Career, where she took Dee Dee, the voice actress for Pearl, one of her old girl group songs from the 90s where she was rapping, and then put it over Pearl. And it looks ridiculous, and it's like she edited it to make it where she was keeping a big secret from Steven, and it was actually that she had a giant rap career in the 90s. And then it became this meme, so she hit me up one day. She's like, hey, let's make Steven's Secret Rap Career. I'm like, but I don't have any raps from the 90s that you can edit into an episode. She's like, what if you just wrote one? I'm like, okay, cool. So I wrote a rap as Steven, and we made a beat for it, and it's Rebecca Sugar acknowledged it and liked it, so it's canon. I think that's how that works. And it's on YouTube, so you should definitely watch it. Watch all of Mackenzie's videos. They're at times disturbing and always lovely.
Awesome. We're just here now.
What's your favorite emotional episode and why?
Favorite what episode?
Emotional episode and why?
I have a lot of answers for this. Between Mr. Greg with It's Over is my favorite song on the whole show. That's a beautiful moment. But one that I feel like it slept on is Space Race. That's the first time we really see Pearl like lose it, and it's sort of a precursor for a lot of the things we find out later on. It gets really dark really fast. It's like this cute little like let's build a rocket ship episode until it's not, and I really like that one. It sticks out in my memory for some reason.
I think we have time for 5 more questions.
5, that's very specific.
That's a very specific number.
Yeah.
That's a prime number.
Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hey.
Just wanted to ask, like, do you see yourself like in Steven? Like, have you like made the character like your own? So like, you see yourself like as him, like from like your youth and stuff.
Do I see myself as Steven? I see Steven as this sort of like part-time roommate that lives like somewhere near my spinal cortex, that I can like go and like swap masks with every now and then. It's very accessible because I've been playing him for so long. And there's a lot of similarities between the way Steven and I grew up, and I feel like we were very similar when I started, but whether because just of coming of age or because I'm associated with him and I felt the need to go my own way, I feel like we're a lot more different than we used to be. So it's sort of a mutually beneficial relationship, if you will, rather than something I see myself as. But I definitely like treasure that part of my brain, and I don't shy away from it.
Question number 2.
Hi, Zach. This is a little bit related to that one, but one of the things I found really interesting about the show
Sorry, I can't quite hear you too well.
I must be louder. Yeah.
Project like in the theater.
Yes, diamond voice. One of the things I found most interesting about the show is the way that Steven's been allowed to grow up along with you. I just kind of wondered, how does it feel growing up at the same time as the character you're playing, and how do you approach the role now compared to when you first started as a kid?
That's an excellent question. I talk about this a lot. It's been a really interesting character study growing up. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, it was a really interesting character study that was unintentional, on my part at least. I don't know if that was Rebecca's intent by bringing in an actual kid to play an actual kid. But being on the show this long, we have similar arcs in life in that, we're these, happy-go-lucky, bubbly kids who have a lot of responsibility, more than a normal kid at that age, placed on our shoulders. And growing up with that and dealing with that and trying not to break from that, I felt a lot of kinship with Steven over that. And there's a lot of things that got written into Steven that Rebecca observed in me that she told me later on. She's like, yeah, that wasn't initially planned. That was just something I wanted you to go towards. Another example of that is Pearl being so motherly and protective of Steven. Obviously, she was protective of Steven, but to the mothering, paranoid degree, that came from Dee Dee rather than from Pearl. That was a later addition. All sorts of things like that, because Rebecca is so adaptive and is not afraid to change things on the fly to make things better if it works well with us, if it works well with whatever our arc in life is. I think that's really enriched the characters a lot over the years.
Okay, question number 3.
Do you think now that Steven's kind of connected more emotionally with both Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst, who do you think he's going to fuse with first? Also, can you sing Cookie Cat?
You got to join me. Who do I think he's going to fuse with first? Peridot. That doesn't answer your question, but I'm answering it with that anyway. All right, can you guys help me with Cookie Cat? All right, it's really easy. When I point to you, just shout, Cookie Cat, yeah? All right.
He's a frozen tree with an all-new taste, 'cause he came to this planet from outer space, a refugee of an interstellar war, but now he's at your local grocery store. He's a pet for your tummy. He's super duper yummy.
Cookie Cat.
Now available at Gherkins for $109.
Every time I do it, the he left his family behind line gets more and more sobbed and depressed.
I think maybe that's the best place to end it there.
Yeah, I think so. Where can people find you? Where's your autographing section?
I'm back with all the other voice actors, right in between Troy Baker and Jeremy Shada. Can't miss it.
So make sure you go over and say hi. And let's give it up one more time for Zach.
Much love, guys. Thank you.